I'm not making it up, and you can find that out real easy. Technology that's out there is way beyond anything we're ready. And I could tell you, I mentioned having a machine that could show your dreams. They have it already. I don't know how detailed the visions that it shows are and things like that, but then the machine needs to translate them for you as well. Imagine hooking something up to your brain and seeing your past lives on video. Well, technology's closer to things than we ever imagine, and when they do, it's not for the masses. If you think they want people to be aware of what mankind's doing to the world, why they still allow chemtrails to be sprayed over the planet, why the HARP system's the deadliest weapon and it destroys things, it doesn't help things. See, the light was used in laser. It puts light to a ruby rod that magnifies it. Light can be used for good or bad. Darkness can't be used for anything. I mean, they say in the world, in the universe, it's all darkness. Well, because of your awareness of it. When we talk about these machines, we're talking about businesses and companies and corporations. I mean, when a typewriter came out, and then they went to voice command, you can just talk to your computer and it will write it out for you now. Well, that technology is rather new. I mean, it's not that new, but it was different than when you had to type. You couldn't tell your computer a whole paragraph and it writes it on the screen. Well, realize the government had the technology before. When they release it, it's so much later. And the idea when Tesla was in the 1900s and he invented the first radio. Check out, I mean, they gave him credit only about, I don't know how many years ago, but only recently did they admit he invented the first radio. And it wasn't that complicated. The technology of the first radio, I had one when I was 10 years old. It was a tube with a little magnet that went back and forth through a coil. And that had a little wire that went to an earplug. And it had a little clip you clipped on metal. Clipped on a piece of metal to get its power. That drove the radio that you could listen to music. Did anybody hear that? Did anybody ever have one? I mean, I actually had one that looked like a little spaceship. And the antenna of the spaceship, you pulled it up and down to change channels. There was no power to it. It just clipped onto a piece of metal. So Tesla's technology of a radio was there when we were little. Did they tell us that? Of course not. And then as they built radios, it became super high-tech. All these transistors, resistors, capacitors, everything else in there. To create the same thing? Why? There's reasons. But do we understand the reasoning? Now, here's something to think about. We move forward, and we think we're moving forward in a better way. You know, if you have a stereo radio, even in your car, and you listen to the old songs, you'll notice something. A lot of the songs are in stereo. It's not stereo. Very few things are in stereo anymore. Meaning you can hear the drummer on one side and the singer on the other, and then you'll hear guitars over both. I mean, stereo is so much more exciting than not. Made you feel like you're there. So they're controlling our mind, fixing it to a certain vibration, so that we don't flutter either way. We stay in that vibration. We don't think much. And when we stay in that state, we're going to have aliens coming here to keep us more in control? To do what? Again, what do you want in life should not be what you have in your mind right now. Because one person says they want to learn about past lives and all that. Well, yeah, you already took the step out of the programmed idea of, I want to have a happy life. Happy days are here again? No, they're not. They're gone. G-O-N-E, gone, gone, gone. And people go, oh, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear hear what? Lies that everything's becoming beautiful? Trump's going to save the planet, save the world, save the people? He already hit the native people really hard. He's hitting the pollution, the industries with toxins and poisons in the oceans and fracking, all those things. Do it all. Destroy the planet. Why not? Are we going to wake up to anything? Do we care? Well, no, we kind of lost control, which is a sad part. When you form a group, if we formed a group right now, TJ Morris is forming a group, we're trying to create an organization and everything else of people to work together, but promote themselves in music, song, books, and speaking and things like that. But when you form a group, you become a terrorist group. Anything that goes against the government is considered a terrorist group. So, when Thomas Jefferson created the idea that we have the right to form a militia when we feel the government's not right, rather recently, the government decided that if they do that, they're a terrorist group. I mean, even groups like Greenpeace are considered a terrorist group. Protecting people is a terrorist group. They protect us in their own way, the way they want to, which is not very beneficial to the human race. So, where do we go? What do we do next? Well, I don't think we can do too much about changing the world because nature is there, which is becoming so screwed up because of what we do. The spirit's aware. I know people don't believe in God, and a lot of people don't, or we all are that. And, well, realize when God sends down the deities, hey, the world can't go any further than that. Fix it. They're the ones that have to play here, not God. God doesn't have to come down and say, whoa. He doesn't have to sit here. It doesn't have to sit here and judge us. Deities do. The angels around us do. If that's their mission, that's their job. We all have angels around us. I wouldn't say Gabriel, Michael. We each have angels that work with our energy and what we are when we're ready to listen. So, very few people ever get to the point of realizing that. There's a time when you let go of everything, when you're aware and allowed to be that. The more you're aware, the less you need help. The more unaware, the more help you need. But looking for help in all the wrong places. I think I did a show on that. But we don't know where to look. Most people don't. They don't know where to start. And it's easy. Look in the mirror. Start there. Do that for a couple weeks at a time. Oh, I'll go crazy. That's ridiculous. No, you'll see yourself. What you really look like as soul. I told you, we need to do workshops. I want to do workshops on seeing who you are as soul, seeing your aura, working with your aura, working with your protection, seeing your protection around you. All those things might be considered little things, but they're super important, especially when you get into the astral plane. If you don't know them, you're completely in havoc on the astral plane until you come back here. I don't think you can stay there without that knowledge. Of course not. You can't take a baby and put him in college and say, well, you're in college now you're going to learn. No, you're not. You can't even speak yet. What I talk about is as real as it can get. I'm glad you're looking for workshops. Like I said, TJ is setting us up for Universal Life Ministries, because we're both ministers, and work on it from that level. I feel like I could go more that way than the UFO world, because the UFO world is such full with lies and pathetic beings that are coming here. You know, I was working with this light ship for almost a year, and it kind of ended about 5 months ago for some reason. I didn't see the sky at all. But I thought they were ready to offer something up to this world to me. I don't know what the story is. I don't see him, hear from him, or anything anymore. But if the sky clears up with the volcano stopping, I might be able to get to see the sky again. So we'll see with that. But as of right now, I can only push and put out there what I feel is important, what's really needed, and it is needed that we move forward in ourselves. I don't believe marijuana hurts anybody. I do believe hardcore drugs do. Not medicine for people that need it. I mean, people that want to get high and buy it on the street, that's a different story. But here's the thing. You know what? Maybe I'll do this. I didn't know how long I was going to do the show. But I decided to add this to the show to make this a very important show. And please send this link to everybody you know if you can. I feel if they get the courage or the willpower, the desire, or even the slight whim to listen to it, they might learn something. We're going to talk about crazy. Being crazy, becoming crazy. How it affects people, what it means, what it really is. Now, when we do things, we do it from what level? From a programmed level. But see, when we see it now, children going out and shooting people, I watched a special years ago about children doing things like a little 6-year-old went in a room and stabbed their daughter, took the cat and smashed it on the floor, jumped on it. I mean, things that, where does the child learn that from? How's the child learn it? Well, you say they're crazy. Crazy is an excuse for not knowing why a person's thinking different than you think. And I always say, you think crazy, I think God. And just because you don't understand God, I'm the one that's crazy. So, when I talk about children, let's start there. And they do things that they never did before, and there's no reason why they should have did it. Something's wrong. Well, science and doctors will say, well, there's a chemical in their brain making them think stupid. It was blah, blah, something's wrong. How about the soul that they are, which they are, a soul, was a negative being or a lower energy, or even came from an alien race reincarnating into this life form. And they don't understand it. They don't think like we do. Being pushed to be in a situation where you don't think like the situation you're in is ridiculous. So when a child has a desire to do something, we stop them in grade school, grammar school, kindergarten, things like that. You have to learn what we want you to learn. I mean, children are already learning about past lives. I know it for a fact, because I did. And when I was learning things about spirit and all that, oh, it's not real. Because they don't know it. They didn't have the experience yet. So when I said, don't listen to your parents, you really shouldn't. Because how much did they know about God, spirit, death? Nothing. How many people can talk about death on this planet? Deepak Chopra, man, he made me sick the other day. But then we got Eckhart Tolle, who's even worse. Oprah asked him, what's death mean? A year ago, he said, death is, well, I don't know what it is. He goes, my mother and father died. And I know that it was meant something. So recently, she asked him the question again. And he goes, well, I know it's a matter of consciousness leaving. He goes, you can feel it. And what else does it mean? He had no clue. How can you talk about life if you don't understand death? Because life's a time frame. Death is forever. Of this body anyway. So where do we go? Understanding both? Yes, you need both. Birth. What is birth? We can go through the whole scenario why soul picks a baby to come into. Or a soul is forced into a child because it has to. And the scenario New Age people take is, oh, I can come back as anything I want. And I mentioned that. But you can't.